in your own kitchen. Daisy sour cream, French onion, and ranch dip. Try them both today and find out which is your new dip addiction.
On Saturday, February 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, it's the Pro Volleyball Federation's first All-Star match. The league's biggest stars will clash in a can't-miss event hosted in the Indy metro area, home of the Indy Ignite. Catch every serve, spike, and save live on CBS. Don't miss this historic showdown of volleyball's finest. The Pro Volleyball Federation All-Star Match on February 22nd at 1:30 p.m. Be there.
Hi, Bobby Maggie here. For years, we have been promoting you can pay less tax at Maggie Tax. Yes, that can mean legally lowering your current tax bill. More importantly, it means implementing an advanced tax planning strategy so you're paying less tax every year, less annual income tax, and significantly less tax in retirement. Advanced tax planning that could save you tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. Visit us at MaggieTax.com. Click on Tax Bill and Retirement to calculate yours. You will pay less tax with Maggie Tax. 833-MAGGIE-TAX.
The Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship races into Tampa Bay.
Here we go!
Witness intense competition as the world's elite riders battle for the coveted title of Supercross Champion. Tickets on sale now. Coming to Raymond James Stadium February 8th. Visit supercrosslive.com.
Hey guys, TKras here. Air and water are two things a certified Ruud Pro partner knows an awful lot about. And now you know. Ruud Water Heating is the industry leader for total water heating solutions. You need conventional tank-type water heaters, tankless water heaters, replacement parts and accessories for all categories. Ruud is a one-stop solutions provider. And with the exclusive backing of Ferguson HVAC, certified Ruud Pro partners get the best products and parts. Hit them up at RuudACFlorida.com.
Hey there, drivers. Got a cracked windshield? Don't settle. Call Glass Doctor. When your insurance suggests a national giant, think twice. Investigate, compare reviews, and make the smart choice. Cracked windshield? Call Glass Doctor first.
Call the Glass Doctor. We'll fix your pains. Oh, yeah.
Run a business and not thinking about podcasting? Think again. More Americans listen to podcasts than ad-supported streaming music from Spotify and Pandora. And as the #1 podcaster, iHeart's twice as large as the next two combined. So whatever your customers listen to, they'll hear your message. Plus, only iHeart can extend your message to audiences across broadcast radio. Think podcasting can help your business? Think iHeart. Streaming, radio, and podcasting. Call 844-844-iHeart to get started. That's 844-844-iHeart.
If you're dealing with an injury, get the kind of care that you deserve with Florida Orthopedic Institute in partnership with Tampa General Hospital.
Get the world-class orthopedic care right here in Tampa Bay by calling 1-800-FL-ORTHO or simply online at floridaortho.com.
If you or someone you know suffered any injuries involving a deployed airbag, you could be entitled to compensation. Morgan & Morgan has already recovered millions. Get America's largest injury law firm fighting for you.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
An iHeartRadio Sports Report, presented by Mark Spain Real Estate.
Hey, this is Lincoln Kennedy. Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Buccaneers assistant GM Mike Greenberg is reported to be among the candidates for the general manager's job in Jacksonville. Meanwhile, Super Bowl week is in full swing. Commissioner Roger Goodell calls it a ridiculous theory that refs favor the Chiefs. Chiefs and Eagles go at it in the Super Bowl on Sunday. Hockey, the Lightning back at it, hosting Ottawa tonight. In college basketball news, Florida State coach Leonard Hamilton announces he's retiring at the end of the season. I'm Matt McCoy.
At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason they go the extra mile. From testing their vehicles in desert heat and Arctic cold to creating AI that can anticipate your needs and preferences on the road, they demand that every car is worthy of their star because it's Mercedes-Benz.
Football coverage is brought to you by Moss Nissan on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
I don't know if Jason Light's schedule is the same in the offseason as is during the season. I know during the season he's usually driving to work right now, listening to this show for some reason. And he has busted our balls for getting stuff wrong in the past, which, listen, I totally get. But that doesn't matter because right now is about a plea. Right now is about a plea to Jason Light from myself and maybe from Aaron Jacobson. We'll see if he will join me in I don't know if I want to say begging, but I think this is there are very few guys that I would go on this kind of stump for. There are very few moves, especially moves as unrealistic as this one is, and it is unrealistic in the grand scheme of things. It's very unlikely that any team trades for Myles Garrett, even though there's a decent chance that one does. Any individual team, though, it's unlikely that they do. And this team especially, I think it is unlikely. However, I would say to Jason Light, if he were driving in his car listening right now, dude, go get him. Go get him. Figure it out. Talk to Mike. Talk to Baker. Talk to Tristan. Whoever you need to restructure. If there is a will, there is a way. I can't remember who it was. Somebody, I remember years ago, and I always thought it was fairly accurate, said, like, if a team really it's usually about keeping a guy. If a team really wants to keep you, they will. They'll find a way to have the money. And I think one way or another, the money's there. We can find it.
Is it 2 first-round picks? How far are you willing to go?
I think it probably is 2 first-round picks. I don't think you go much further than that. Like, if you have to throw in a 4 next year or something, maybe. Although we see what Jason Light can do with 3s and 4s. Like, I don't want to waste too many picks.
Exactly right. That's
but
exactly,
I also think...
But Cleveland is in a position where they can ask for whatever they want to ask for.
Sure, because they don't have to trade him.
That's exactly right.
But you don't want... Usually when guys ask for a trade, they get what they want. And especially if they're going to hold out and some of these things. And I think it's a bad look for Cleveland with Myles Garrett being the guy he's been in Cleveland to not do what seems like the right thing for him. Because listen, you're not ready to compete anytime soon. Let's be honest. You got to figure out how the hell to get out of that albatross that is Deshaun Watson. And it sounds like they're going to move on from him, but they're still stuck under all that money. Like,
first things first, when we're talking about Myles Garrett coming to Tampa Bay, Myles Garrett's requesting a trade. Now, Cleveland can trade him to whoever they want to trade him to, but Myles has expressed his desire to go win a Super Bowl.
Right.
Well, we heard from Cam Newton recently saying winning an MVP was more important than winning a Super Bowl. Myles Garrett seems to be the opposite.
Different attitude.
He wants to go win a Super Bowl. So for that, we know Myles is going to be a game changer. If he wants to go win a Super Bowl, Tampa Bay, I think, would be on the list. It should be on the list of teams that are at least contenders.
If you're Myles Garrett and you know you have an opportunity, he's a smart guy, right? This isn't some doofus that's just like, get me out of Cleveland. He's a smart. You ever listen to Myles Garrett? He's a smart guy. He understands. He loves football, right? Some guys, they play football and they might love the game, but they're not deep in. Like, Myles Garrett loves the NFL. He loves football. He understands the game. I think the opportunity to play in a Todd Bowles defense, as aggressive as he would get to be playing here at outside linebacker, the opportunity to play next to guys like Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey, he could. I mean, and you'd have to play him on the side next to Kalijah Kancey, right? Like, just imagine.
Let me ask you something.
Just imagine him next to Kalijah Kancey. Good luck.
And as far as him maybe wanting to, where would he want to play for a contender? The Bucs are a contender.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, where did he go to college? Texas A&M. Where did Mike Evans go to college?
Texas A&M. Do you think that's a big draw, though? I mean, there's probably Texas A&M guys all over the place.
But it helps.
Baker's a Texas guy, you know.
From Texas, yeah.
Does that hurt, though? Does him being, like, I don't know.
I think, Texas people like other Texas people.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, they're times kind of, they weren't, they were very close. They're close in age. So, there's bonds that go with universities and your alumni that, I don't know. I'm guessing they know each other.
Yeah, to me, I wouldn't imagine that would be a huge factor.
No, but you're looking for everything, right?
Yeah.
We look for everything as far as what would make him comfortable. Now, more important than how comfortable he's going to be with a guy like Mike Evans, like with his teammates, can the Buccaneers make it work? What would have to go in to the Buccaneers making it work? Jamel Dean, gone.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Godwin, probably not going to be able to resign him if that happens. Mike Evans is going to, who has shown that he was willing to do this. Baker Mayfield, guys that make a lot of money. You mentioned Tristan Wirfs, Antoine Winfield Jr. They're going to have to do something here to help this team out if they want to sign Myles Garrett.
Probably. I imagine they're probably going to have to do some things. Also, there's so much funny money in the NFL, right? Well, maybe you make something the signing bonus instead of the salary in year one, because the salary cap opens up quite a bit next year, especially for the Buccaneers. From what I've read recently, like next year they're gonna have a lot more money than they do this year. So maybe you say, hey, this year you get a small signing bonus, you get a small salary. Next year it balloons. I mean, I have no idea, but what I do know is people that are smarter than me, like Mike Greenberg, who's still here for now, and like Jason Light, they know how this stuff works. And I do believe they could figure out a way. It may cost you, like somebody said on the DA text line, if you go get Myles Garrett, you probably won't bring Chris Godwin back. That could be the case. I think, to me, Myles Garrett is a generational talent that you find a way to go get if you can.
If you can, let me give you an option here, Pat, and I'll open up the phone lines and text line as well. 888-546-4620, 82945. Start your text with DAE. You can get, if you're the Buccaneers, you can get one of these two guys. You can trade the house and spend a lot of money for Myles Garrett. When I say trade the house, 2 1s and a couple of those picks we mentioned that Jason Light does really good in those mid-rounds.
I mean, I don't think it's all of that. I don't think it's 2 and 2 later picks.
2 and 1, whatever. It's a haul.
2 1s might get it done.
Let's just say you're going to have to overspend to get him, just for the scenario, right? Then on the other side, you have an option to not overspend, not give up too much, and not overpay to get Trey Hendrickson. What are you doing?
I'm going to get Myles Garrett.
You're overpaying to get Myles Garrett rather than paying a normal price.
There's a reason why you overpay for Myles Garrett. He's a generational talent.
All right, let me do another
Trey
scenario.
Hendrickson's very good. He's not even in the same class as Myles Garrett.
He's not. Let me do another scenario. Myles Garrett, you lose Chris Godwin. Trey Hendrickson, you get to keep Chris Godwin. Ooh, this is a better one.
I think Myles Garrett is the kind of player that you don't pass up on if you have an opportunity to bring him in.
You're telling me you could keep Chris Godwin and bring in Trey Hendrickson, but you'd go with Myles Garrett and bye-bye Chris Godwin.
If I have a chance to bring in a generational talent, I do it.
Wow.
Like, Myles Garrett isn't old. He isn't a guy, like, hanging on at the end of his career.
He's not young.
Okay. Is he going to be great for a handful more years? Listen, I think this team is very close. This is when you make these kind of moves. When you're a move or two away from potentially winning a Super Bowl, you make those moves. And that's what Myles Garrett is for this football team. The opportunity to be probably a Super Bowl favorite in the NFC next year. One of the teams people point to and go, that team's going to be in the Super Bowl hunt. That's who the Buccaneers are if they go get Myles Garrett.
I think you got a little disrespect on Trey Hendrickson.
Listen, very good player. He is not Myles Garrett. Neither is anybody else in the NFL today.
They're essentially the same age. 2023 for Cincinnati, 17.5 sacks. 2024 for Cincinnati, 17.5 sacks.
He's fantastic.
Yes, he is. Yeah, and you're telling me you have a chance to get that and keep Chris Godwin, but you're going to go with Myles Garrett. How much more production do you think you're going to get out of Myles Garrett?
A lot.
I disagree.
I do. I think that Myles Garrett is that dangerous of a football player and changes your team that much that, like, Cleveland's terrible, man. He's been everything for that team. I think he is the kind of player that changes your franchise overnight. And Hendrickson would be great too. Don't get me wrong.
And that's a guy who's going to have multiple games throughout the season, Hendrickson, with multiple sacks in that game. You're going to get a lot of that. Like, that's production that's going to make Yaya better. You're going to make guys around.
I get it. I'm not discounting him by saying that Myles Garrett is a generational talent. It's two different things.
But then you're discounting Chris Godwin and what he could bring back to the table. If you're telling me that
I love
Myles
Chris
Garrett's, if you don't want Trey Hendrickson with Chris Godwin, you take Garrett over that. You're telling me Garrett's not just a little better than Trey Hendrickson. He's Myles Garrett, miles ahead of him. That's what you're telling me. If you're going to let Chris go, that's what I'm hearing. That he's just it's not even comparable.
It's listen. There's if you trade for Myles Garrett, he's yours. Period.
Ooh, that's a good one on the text line. Max Crosby. Oh.
They've said they're not trading Max Crosby.
All right, but let's just do it for the conversation.
I think Myles Garrett is far and away better than anyone in football.
Max
on the
Crosby
side of football.
And Chris Godwin or Myles Garrett. Pat, dude. Pat, you got some thing for Myles Garrett, my dude.
I do.
Max Crosby's 27.
Yeah.
He's 27, man. And you get to keep Chris.
I know. I'd probably go that.
Thank you.
I do love Max Crosby.
Let's just be a little. Let's just come on now.
I think Myles Garrett would be that game changing for the defense. I really do.
Jason Light's listening. Like, thank God I'm GM.
Listen, I've said a million times I'd be a terrible general manager. All right, speaking of terrible, how about terrible people? If you thought the New Orleans Saints, and of course I'm a dangerous broadcaster. I don't know about that, Mark and Oldsmar, you, buddy.
You, buddy. Hey, you.
I decided not to say what I was going to say. I'll say some things. We'll both say some things about the New Orleans Saints on the other side, because when you hear this story, again, by the way, I said earlier it's not on ESPN. It is. It's not one of their top headlines on their main page. It's also not one of the top headlines on their NFL page. But if you go to the Saints page, you can find it. It's a bigger deal than I think a lot of sports websites are making it out to be. What the Saints are being accused of and allegedly did, way worse than paying players to injure people.
WDAE traffic update from the Moss Nissan Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell.
So far, so good on the roads around Tampa Bay, increasing traffic in all the usual spots, especially along westbound I-4 through the Plant City area. No problems to report on 75, and traffic on 275 increasing towards downtown Tampa, southbound from Sly towards Dr. King. No problems to report on any of the Bay Area bridges. Get traffic info around the clock by searching News Radio WFLA on iHeartRadio. I'm Randy Myers.
Eat Lux your way with the new $5 Classic, $7 Supreme, and $9 Discovery Lux Craving Boxes from Taco Bell at participating stores for a limited time only. While supplies last, price of participation varies. Drinks exclude freezes, tax extra.
Nikki Bonomo is Infrastructure Manager for the Kresge Foundation and a very satisfied Applied Innovation customer.
We've been using Applied Innovation for a number of years, over a decade at least, here at the foundation. There's never a question of changing vendors. We're sticking with them for the long haul.
Applied Innovation has a unique culture that combines world-class products with people committed to doing what's right for their customers.
Yeah, it seems like they hire the right people and they keep the right people, and we're really happy about that because you want to have a stable set of technical experts to be able to call on.
So Applied Innovation means less stress for you.
And there's enough at work that we have to worry about. This is great that we don't have to worry about the printers or copiers. Peace of mind, that's what I get from Applied Innovation.
If you're not enjoying peace of mind and getting technical expertise when it comes to your copiers and printers, call Applied Innovation today, 800-521-0983, or visit appliedinnovation.com.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, you know to check that your seats aren't in the visitor section first, before buying tickets.
I'm so excited for this game. I can't believe you got us tickets.
Me too. Wait, are we on the wrong side?
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
This is going to be a long game.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Something amazing is happening in networking. Organizations are scaling with less stress. That's because CDW is designing and implementing intelligent HPE Aruba networking solutions that simplify and secure operations. With automation at the center of your data center, growing pains can be a thing of the past. HPE Aruba Networking and CDW. Make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Aruba.
Some things you wouldn't mind being stuck with, like a huge inheritance. But a phone that has to be plugged in just right so it charges is not one of those things. Switch to Verizon and we'll pay off your old phone up to $800 via prepaid MasterCard for a new one on us. Just trade in any phone from our top brands with select unlimited plans. $829.99 purchase with new smartphone line on select unlimited plans. Minimum $90 per month with auto pay plus taxes and fees for 36 months required. Less $830 trade-in/promo credit applied over 36 months. Trade-in terms apply. Payoff phone requires smartphone purchase and port-in with new smartphone line on select plan. Must provide most recent bill showing payoff amount of eligible phone. Additional terms apply.
Get ready for Super Bowl 59 with iHeart, the official partner of the NFL Podcast Network.
This is Cam Jordan from the NFL Podcast Network show, Off the Edge with Cam Jordan.
Join Cam and other podcasts like NFL Daily, NFL Players Second Acts, and more.
We'll all be recording live from New Orleans this week. Make sure to open the iHeart app and search NFL to hear all the action and the biggest guests.
Getting you ready for the Super Bowl with the NFL Podcast Network. Football, baby. Just open the free iHeart app and search NFL to start listening now.
Experience the Anajar and Levine difference.
Call 1-800-747-FREE.
Monster BTK, the latest installment of the critically acclaimed Monster franchise, exposes the chilling story of one of America's most infamous cases that shook Wichita, Kansas to its core.
When people said BTK, you think of a wild-eyed Manson-like character. What we didn't understand is he was the guy next door.
Listen to Monster BTK on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Monster BTK to start listening.
Taxes was not knowing your full financial picture. Now Taxes is getting and maximizing your refund all in one place. Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get you the most money back, guaranteed. Then you can do more with all that money, all in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. Get started today. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
This report is sponsored by Zenchi Handcrafted Sushi, a convenient grab-and-go meal. Find Zenchi at your local Publix.
Early morning fog, then a mix of sun and cloud. Our high right around 80 degrees. Overnight patchy fog. Our low drops back to 60. Tomorrow, Wednesday, mostly sunny. Our high right around 82. Get weather info around the clock by searching News Radio WFLA on iHeartRadio. I'm John Thomas.
For over 35 years, Zenchi has been perfecting the art of handcrafted sushi. Zenchi sushi is perfect for when you need quality on the go. Made fresh in-store daily, Zenchi is an affordable and convenient grab-and-go meal. Find Zenchi at the seafood department inside Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
Now, back to the Pat and Aaron Show on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
Bountygate was pretty disturbing, finding out that the Saints, and in particular Sean Payton and people within his staff, were paying players to try to injure people. That was a pretty disturbing story. I don't know if it's as disturbing. It's definitely not as bizarre.
So different.
Yeah, definitely different also. But definitely more bizarre, and maybe even, again, not as bad as the story coming out right now about the New Orleans Saints. Again, you got to go digging on ESPN to find this. I didn't see it on several sports websites that I looked at. It is in the New York Post. It is on ESPN, but again, you got to go digging into the Saints page to find it. It's interesting. It seems like a lot of sports people are just staying away from this story, but to me, it's shocking. I'll read you the first two paragraphs because they're both short, and I think they encapsulate exactly what this whole thing is, but it's really weird. Here's how the story in the New York Post starts. As New Orleans church leaders braced for the fallout from publishing a list of predatory Catholic priests, they turned to an unlikely ally, the front office of the city's NFL franchise, of course, the New Orleans Saints. What followed was a months-long crisis communications blitz orchestrated by the New Orleans Saints president and other top team officials, according to hundreds of internal emails obtained by the Associated Press. You go through some of these emails, and it is just crazy. They were basically helping the church with their PR after the church had a bunch of their Catholic priests accused of being perverts. And I think some of them found to be definitely perverts. And they had a whole thing where and I don't know why that this is so, communicated between the DA and the church. It's odd that they would be working together.
They're in cahoots with it.
Yeah. So basically there was a list of all of these Catholic priests that have been diddlers, and the DA worked directly with the church on this list. And if you read into the article and you read the emails, the president of the Saints and people within the Saints were a part of this whole thing. They were a part of, I guess, deciding what names to potentially keep off the list.
Which, why would you keep, unless it's just, I'd have to think money and power. Why are those names kept off the list? Why would you even want to be associated with taking names of sick perverts off the list?
Well, they definitely don't want to be associated with it because the Saints tried very hard to make sure these emails never came to light. They did not want these emails to become public. And it's just, and it goes all the way to the top where Benson, the owner of the Saints, actually asked her people to get involved in this.
It also makes it seem like the people in Bensel and the people involved think they're doing a good thing.
Which I don't understand.
Like the way I read it,
some of it, yeah.
It's like they're helping and they're really being good people by helping them out here, and I don't understand where that comes in. They're calling it a mission and supporting the mission, and that's not a mission. That's disgusting and criminal.
Like if you're religious, it's your own thing. You want to support a church, that's your own thing. But after people have committed horrific crimes against children, if you allow your beliefs in religion or a church or anything like that to fog that, you've got some sick problems. Like nothing should come before protecting the innocent and children especially. But I put women in that category, animals in that category. Like if people, and obviously men too, but like the weaker among us, they should be protected by the rest of us. And nobody's more powerful in a lot of cities than the NFL franchise. I mean, they've got a lot, maybe not all the way through politics, but they've got a lot of pull. And they obviously, right, there's a reason why they got involved in this, and they were asked to be involved in this. But the idea that any NFL franchise or anybody would get behind and help the church after this, it's just disgusting is the word you used, and it's right.
The AP's reported on it. I've seen New York Post put an article on it based on what they saw from the AP. Why do we think that this is – do we think it's getting swept under the rug?
I don't – I'm not a big fan of conspiracy theories, but the fact that ESPN – you have to go to the Saints page. And all right, here's the New York Post headline again about this, right? New Orleans Saints role in priest cover-up revealed in shocking emails team tried to keep secret. Listen to that again. New Orleans Saints role in priest cover-up revealed in shocking emails team tried to keep secret. That is pretty bold. Here's the headline on the New Orleans Saints page on ESPN.com. And again, it's not on the main NFL page. It's not on the ESPN homepage. This is the headline. Check out this compared to the New York Post headline. Emails detail Saints aid to Archdiocese in scandal. Like you could scroll right by that without thinking it's a big deal at all.
And if the Saints at all, if anyone in the organization was involved in them allowing to take certain people off that list, certain names off that list, certain criminals off that list, yeah, they have to be held accountable for that.
Absolutely. I don't know what you can do. It's outside of the scope of football. So I'm not sure what the NFL and team, obviously the team, all the team owners can get together and always punish one of the other ones if they think they were out of bounds. But because it's outside of the scope of football, I'm interested to see how this plays out. And again, it doesn't seem like anybody's really interested in talking about it in sports circles.
No.
I wonder if the NFL probably isn't. All right, well, that's again that I had to bring that up today because I found it absolutely shocking. Here's the question, though. All right, we know the Rays do not have enough power in the lineup this season. We've talked about that. We're going to get into that potentially later in the show as well. But the Bucks, we know they don't have enough pressure off the edge. Can they get it? Can they find a way? And what's the right way? We'll get into that as well.
Tampa Bay Sports Radio, 95.3 WDAE and AM 620.
You wouldn't know it, but most financial advisors are put in a box. I'm Jeff Jr. from Trajan Wealth, and I want to provide you a little insight about financial advisors. Most financial advisors have to sell what their company requires them to sell, and many advisors have to only adhere to what's called a suitability standard. A suitability standard is a limited standard of care, not requiring what's sold to be best, just suitable. Advisors with this loose standard often have limited investment and product selection. Trajan Wealth is held to a fiduciary standard, which is the highest standard of care in the advisory business. And that's just one of the many reasons we have billions of dollars under our care and attract clients from other advisors. Raise your standards today and call Trajan Wealth. Call 813-550-1000. That's 813-550-1000.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
As America's largest injury law firm, size is our strength. Morgan & Morgan.
Take your Valentine's experience to a whole new level this year with jewelry, flowers, candy, dinner, and a romantic getaway. All courtesy of International Diamond Center. Nothing says love like romantic jewelry from IDC. From a simple pendant to an exquisite designer ring, we've got a fantastic selection of affordable, timeless gifts. And this year, with any jewelry purchase at IDC of $129 or more, we're giving you long stem roses, some delicious chocolates, and a gift card for dinner at Bascom's Chop House. It's one-stop shopping for all things romantic. And this year, we're taking it up a notch with a 3-day romantic getaway to places like New York, Napa, and Savannah. Just spend $2,500 on your jewelry and we'll set you up at a 4-star hotel in the romantic city of your choice. Spend $5,000 and we'll throw in the airfare and some spending money. Make this Valentine's one to remember. Let IDC help you with jewelry, flowers, chocolates, dinner, and a romantic vacation. We've got it all. Happy Valentine's from International Diamond Center. Tampa, Clearwater, Lakeland, and Sarasota. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
This Valentine's Day, iHeartRadio wants to send you shopping with a $2,000 gift card to the Golden Diamond Source or a $250 gift card, one of 9 daily prizes. Log on to 953WDAE.com/Valentine's Day for rules and your chance to win. Happy Valentine's Day.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, EasyCater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at EasyCater.com.
From the Rude Air and Water Studios, powered locally by Ferguson HVAC. Engineered tough, built to last.
The home of the best Bucks coverage. We are 95.3 W237CW Pinellas Park. WRUB HD3 Clearwater.